Insurance professionals work hard every day to keep people safe, but as technology transforms the industry, how can insurers protect not only their clients, but also shield themselves from ever-changing cyber risks? My name is Elizabeth Blossfield, and I'm the host of the Insuring Cyber Podcast, a monthly look into how the world of cyber and the business of insurance are connected. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Insuring Cyber Podcast. For this episode, I spoke with Chris Methven, the newly appointed Chief Executive Officer at CyberCube. In our conversation, he shares his perspective on stepping into the CEO role, the evolving challenges facing cyber insurers right now, and how CyberCube is positioning itself to lead in an increasingly complex and rapidly changing risk landscape. Check out what he had to say. Hi, Chris. It's great to be speaking with you today. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you, Elizabeth. It's good to be here with you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I'm excited to have this conversation. I know that it's an exciting time at CyberCube. You've been a part of CyberCube for several years as Chief Growth Officer. Now you're stepping into the CEO role. So I guess to start off, I'm curious if you could just talk about what excites you most about leading the company at this moment and what's ahead for CyberCube in the future.
Yeah, I mean, this is a super exciting time for me to be stepping into the role as CEO of CyberCube. In Q4 of 2025, we secured a significant investment from Spectrum Equity, our new cornerstone financial investor. And that just gives us a bunch more optionality and a bunch more firepower as we think about how we can step forward and lean in and support our clients and the broader cyber insurance market as it seeks to capitalize on the huge opportunity that still exists for cyber insurance as a line of insurance.
Yeah, that's great. Lots of exciting things ahead. And I know that CyberCube also just secured significant investment and entered sort of this new phase of growth. So how do you see this next chapter kind of shaping the company's strategy and priorities?
Yeah, so we are now in a position where we can take a slightly longer term view on investments that we want to make as a company. If you think about this really crudely, like for the last several years, we've been predominantly venture capital funding led, and that's meant that we've lived really in a series of sort of 18 to 24 month sprints. Fast forward to where we are today with Spectrum's backing, we're now able to think in 4, 5, 6 year timeframes when we're thinking about the types of investments we want to make to support our clients' growth. I think when you marry that to the fact that the cyber insurance market has been in a prolonged soft pricing cycle, but there's some evidence that the pendulum is starting to swing, or at least slow the rate with which pricing has been softening. That puts us in a really interesting position because we're able to take a long-term view on investments that our clients want to see from us in order to support their long-term growth. And that's a pretty exciting place for us to be as a business.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I know that you mentioned the soft market in cyber right now. Obviously there are still plenty of challenges opportunities in the space, but there are also some challenges for insurers. And so I'm curious what you see as the biggest challenges that insurers are facing right now in the cyber market, and how should they be thinking about those this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few challenges out there. I think the first, most fundamentally, is there is still a really significant protection gap as it relates to cyber insurance as a line. A small fraction of the companies that should be buying a standalone cyber insurance policy are actually buying that policy today. And those people that are frequently not buying enough. So the biggest challenge that we as an industry need to think about is how do we close that protection gap over time? I think the second thing is clearly pricing. As we've been in that soft market cycle, pricing and pricing adequacy has been of an ever greater focus for our clients and cyber insurers in general. And then the third thing is accumulation. The cyber insurance industry has not seen a true catastrophic loss yet, but it is certainly a case of when, not if, that happens. And how the industry responds to that will determine whether this is a long-term sustainable business, sustainable industry that we're building together. And so, I think they're the three main themes that are dominating certainly the conversations that we have with our insurance clients, and I think the industry more generally.
Yeah, that makes sense. And those are three important themes to keep an eye on. And as you mentioned, how insurers respond to these risks will
play an important role in how the industry sort of moves forward. And I know that we're still seeing, ransomware evolve, systemic risks, as you mentioned, and AI-enabled threats as well. So how should the insurance industry think about modeling and sort of quantifying some of these risks?
Yeah, I mean, AI is a really interesting challenge for the insurance industry and the subset of that is the cyber insurance industry to think through today. And like broadly, we think about AI in three ways. So AI is accelerating traditional attack techniques. Phishing emails are getting better. Ransomware code is easier to write. So it's accelerating the things that were already happening. First area. Second area is industries and enterprises are rushing to embed AI in their existing workflows. And that's creating new points of accumulation, new points of aggregation that we need to model. And then the third thing is there's a bunch of AI risk that sits outside of cyber insurance today, whether that's in a property policy, whether that's in a marine policy. And how does the insurance industry respond to that need from their client base? And that market opportunity for the insurance industry is a pretty exciting opportunity. And so we're spending time really thinking about AI in those three different ways and supporting our clients as they do so.
Yeah, that's great. I know that AI is such a big topic and it's been for a while. I haven't been able to have a conversation on this podcast without it coming up. So I think it's something that insurers will definitely continue to pay attention to. And just kind of a forward-looking question to end. I'm curious where you see the biggest opportunities to expand CyberCube's impact in the market, and what are you most paying attention to this year when it comes to cyber insurance?
Yeah, so I mean, AI is definitely an area where we're spending a bunch of time thinking about how we model different AI exposures and what that means for our clients and by extension for their clients. I think we're also looking at geographical expansion. I think when you look at the different regional markets for cyber around the world, Asia Pacific, Latin America, they're growing at far faster rates, albeit from lower bases than some of the more established geographies. So how do we capture more of the market opportunity that exists in those regions is definitely something we're spending a bunch of time thinking about. And then when we look at our own business, our business was really built off the foundational strength we have around accumulation modeling. And that is still the foundations upon which the whole CyberCube house is built. But we've seen a great deal of success over the last few years in the retail and wholesale broking segment. And so, tying back to my comment around how do we as an industry close that protection gap? Well, our retail and wholesale broking tools are all about helping cyber brokers sell more cyber insurance. And so that's an area we're pretty excited about, and we're certainly continuing to invest heavily in because we think that ultimately helps the entire market grow, and that's good for all of us, both ourselves and our clients alike.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting to hear about some of the opportunities ahead at CyberCube. Congratulations on stepping into the CEO role, and thanks for taking the time to speak with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's good to talk to you.
Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks to Chris for joining me and for all of you who tuned in. You can hear previous episodes of the Insuring Cyber Podcast on insurancejournal.tv or wherever you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for a new episode next month. In the meantime, feel free to reach out to me at eblastfield@wellsmedia.com with any comments or questions. Talk to you next time.